Hey y'all, welcome to Cocktail Hour. This is your midweek mini episode. I am Meg.
And I'm Nikki, and today we're going to be bringing you some wedding industry hot takes, which have all been submitted anonymously. So who knows what we're going to be getting into?
We're gonna fit as many as we can in the next half hour, so we're rolling right in. So, hot take. Is it insane for photographers to charge a ton for a second photographer, then hire a newbie or it is insane, my apologies, for a photographer to charge a ton for a second photographer, then hire a newbie who's not good at what they do?
Yeah, agreed.
Nuts.
Why would you hire somebody who's not good at what they do? That just puts more work on your plate.
Well, and I think what ends up happening, so let's say you charge $1,000, and I do agree with you. You charge $1,000 for a second photographer, and then people are trying to find the photographer that'll charge the least.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
that's crazy.
look,
That's honestly horrific.
I feel like you said that's going to put more work on you
Yeah.
having to cull shit images and edit shit images. If anything, you're just asking for a body to be there at that point, which is not helpful whatsoever.
Like literally just don't give them an SD card and just let them be there. Like that's
It's like
crazy.
giving your little brother or sister a controller that's not plugged in just so
Yeah.
they feel included,
Yeah.
just so they're there.
Okay, taking the couple away for the whole cocktail hour just for portraits, it's absurd to me.
I agree with that hot take, but it's not
It's not one size fits all. Like
agreed.
literally, it can be if that's what the couple wants, I'll give it to you. That's what the couple gets. So if
Yeah.
somebody's gonna give me some side eye because the couple's gone the whole cocktail hour, if they requested that with me, I'm gonna tell them, why that could be beneficial if they want. And I'm also gonna tell them why it could be, a little absurd for them to miss cocktail hour
Agreed.
and they can make that decision on their own. Personally, would I do it? No.
No. And I think it's those hot takes are tough. Like I said, in no way is this in my control.
Yeah.
This is purely what the couple asked for. I just saw another one online that was from a makeup artist, which I get, but she was like, I absolutely hate when photographers will like pause quick before I'm doing lip retouches so they can do the PJ photo. Like, who needs that PJ photo? Do you think that I
I don't want it.
decided? I was like, do you think I decided this PJ photo was integral to my portfolio?
Literally.
I am trying to ensure the bride is happy and we need to get her going.
Yep.
So I got to get this photo right
Yep.
now. I'm not trying to make your life more difficult.
And also, it's not a one size fits all. Like, it could have been raining all fucking morning. It could have been they didn't want to do a first look and now they have to do all of their photos during cocktail hour. Like, it really is just not a one size fits all.
Agreed. So this one, we got a ton of submissions like this, and a lot of them essentially are about like, people are only doing this for Instagram photos, but hot take, brides having an international destination wedding and then asking the bridal party to do a destination bachelorette party when 90% of us live in the same city. It's only for the photographs and it's inconsiderate. This seems very specific. Someone's upset about something, but we got a lot of these.
Very, very, yes, it's a hot take. I don't know what else to add to it because it's just the truth.
Yeah, it is. I completely understand it. Now, what I will say though is if I am getting married to Jeff Bezos and my friends are all gazillionaires,
Yeah,
come
that's
meet me in
totally
Aruba.
different.
Come meet me in Aruba. But if your friends are like nursing students, accountants, like
Yeah.
we're living our lives, going destination wedding is one thing. Like, sure, love you, let's do it. Then another like destination bachelorette.
That's an insane amount of traveling to put on your group of friends.
That's a lot of money.
Also, if I'm marrying Jeff Bezos, I'm flying you there. Like,
Oh, that's
I'm
true.
literally bringing you with me. I'm paying for everything. If I have the means to do so, I would 100% do that for my friends. But I'm not doing that.
I
so.
also think when people are like, well, it's a vacation for you. No, it's not.
This is not. No.
No. And
No.
I mean that with love also with couples who are like, hey, can you come shoot my wedding out in Greece for free, essentially, because it'll be a vacation for you.
For $4.
It's not a vacation. And if you want to do that as a photographer, that is fine. But for me, that is not my version of success. My version of success is someone coming to me saying, hey, can you shoot my Greece wedding? Oh, it will be $2,500 in travel plus your, $8,000 whatever fee. Great. Worth the money. That's success to me. But traipsing all over the world shooting for no money.
I think vacation and success though are very different. I think like somebody can say, "Hey, do you want to make a vacation out of this?" 'Cause I think that's a possibility.
True. If they're like, hey, what if I paid for a hotel
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
week or a week and a half?
exactly. Like,
Agreed. But it's the like
come shoot this for free.
for
Like
48 hours.
you can make something. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
No,
No.
it is exhausting bringing your gear all over the place.
It's actually really stressful. There should rarely be an MC moment at a wedding. We don't need a listen up for the grand entrance. Just play different music and get that shit bumping. Guests will know to pay attention when there's a change or a shift. And I agree with that. I mean, to a certain
I
extent,
want to agree with that.
I want to agree with it as well. Have I seen it happen naturally, organically, successfully? A couple of times. Is it a very rare thing out of, hundreds of weddings that we've attended? Yes, it is. So again, unfortunately in this industry, one size does not fit all. Things are so touch and go with weddings in the wedding industry that like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We've seen some shit.
I feel like humans at a wedding are much like humans at an airport.
Ugh.
Dumb. They're dumb. No one pays attention. No one has social like awareness.
They see an open bar and literally it's like their brain is operated by a tiny little alien who doesn't know what they're doing or who's never been to planet Earth. The amount of times that we've had to go and tell people as speeches are going, can you please sit down? Or telling the bartenders, can you please shut the bar down?
Yeah.
Please. For 10 minutes. If Uncle Gary can't have a fucking vodka soda, he can't wait 10 minutes for his vodka soda, and he's just yapping it up with his bright red cheeks in the back, being loud as shit to the point where everybody's turning their head. Like, an MC moment needs to be had.
Yeah.
Everybody, please take your seats. The bar is closed.
Yeah.
Sit the fuck down.
Even with an MC moment.
Oh, yeah, it still happens.
People still don't sit down. So
people don't care.
I do agree that would it be like perfect world, you change up the music and whatever and people sit down, but unfortunately like you said, that's a gray area. That does not always happen. Dad could be speaking, talking about his daughter, and he's crying. And Uncle Jerry looks at the bar, stands up, knocks his fucking silverware over, and
is scooting the chair back going,
yeah. And we're all looking at him like, are you stupid? I have been in a position where I've actually been nervous that someone's uncle is going to tell the couple that I was rude to them because I've come up to them because they will not stop going to the bar, and I'll be like,
me too.
Hey,
yep,
could you just take a seat for me? Like the bar will still be open when speeches are done. And he's like, they look so angry.
I've interrupted two yappers at a table, old yapping women, and I have to say, excuse me, this is Jerry and Carrie's wedding.
Yeah.
Like, can you just one moment, speeches are going to be done soon. Can you just shut the fuck up?
People lose all sense of just respect.
God.
Anyways, okay, this is exactly how this was entered. I don't know what they mean, but I can assume. It just says second shooter tagging vendors. So hot take, second shooter tagging vendors. I don't know if you're asking for my hot take or if you think that's a hot take. Personally, for my second photographers, I say, look, I want you to take the vendors. And some people feel very differently than me, and that's okay. How I see it is when I was a second photographer, I'd put my work out there, and yes, couples would see it, but obviously vendors weren't seeing it. They couldn't share it, to show what they had created. But I see it as a partnership. If the florist did an amazing job and my second photographer took amazing photos of it, I want them to share so the vendor can share on their socials. Now, where I do draw the line is like, no, you're not going to send your gallery to the florist.
Absolutely not.
But if they want to reshare what you've posted because they like what you did, that is not only good for you, that's good for them. That's good for the overall wedding, the overall team. And I want to be supportive of all the small businesses. So I know everyone sees that a little bit differently, and that's okay. But that's how I see it. I ask that they don't tag the couple because I don't want the couple to start looking at editing styles and being like, wait a minute, I hired True to Color Meg. The second photographer's kind of dark and moody. Like, what images am I going to be getting? I don't want them to be nervous about that. But for the other vendors, tag them. I don't care. You're not, here's one thing I'm going to say. By tagging the vendors, you are not taking work away from me. Baby, I'm good. I'm booked and busy. My 2025 is booked. My 2026, I am fine. So if you're looking at your second photographer like, well, I don't want them to share this work, because like, what if that florist likes their work more than mine and now
Sounds like a
refers
you
them?
problem.
That sounds like a you problem. And I'm really sorry to say that. I do understand it was your wedding. I do agree with that. So if you don't want to share it for that reason, okay. But if it is a competition thing, I go, you got to be more secure in your work and in your business. Yeah. Anyways.
It's totally okay to have a dry or vegan wedding. Your guests will be fine. And I agree. It is a one day out of a year.
That's
Like,
true.
if somebody's coming to celebrate you, let's hope it's because they love you and not because they want free drinks and a steak.
Yeah.
Like, get the freak out of here. They're
The vegan
fine.
thing scares me a little bit.
You're fine.
I could eat a salad, but if you're like, here's this tofurkey,
It's like eggplant usually.
that's fine. That's fine.
And honestly, go to McDonald's afterwards. Like,
True.
if you care about the person enough to go to their wedding, who gives a shit if it's vegan or alcohol free?
Or if you can drink.
Yeah.
You don't have to invite someone to your wedding just because they invited you to theirs. I do agree. Everyone's got different guest counts, budgets.
I also agree. And also, I'll throw in a one up. Yeah. You don't have to include someone in your wedding party just because they included you in theirs. Because sometimes that can be shocking. I've been in, I don't know, 6 weddings, 7 weddings, maybe. Maid of honor 5 times, I think. And would I have at a previous time in my life probably included all those people? Yes. Now, at this point in my life, looking back, number one, I don't want a wedding party.
Yeah.
Too complicated. Grosses me out, honestly, just to think about it because I have so many people that I love that I'm like, I don't want to do that. I had a friend look at me once and be like, don't you feel like wedding parties are just a way to like MySpace top 8 your friends and rank them? And that might be a hot take.
Yeah.
Is like, do you feel like having a wedding party is ranking your friends?
Yeah. And literally that's the next one. So we're going to skip it, but it is wedding parties are more stressful than they're worth sometimes. And you could not be more right. It's tough because I do agree, like, it's fun. We had a wedding this fall where our bride had like 18 sisters, I swear, and not in like a religious way, but like that their family's just really big. It was really fun to see them together.
100%.
But when I see, oftentimes we do see bridal parties where it's like some people seem like they were just thrown in because, like, to even out the numbers. And we've seen angry bridesmaids and like all these different things where I'm just like, I feel like I'd rather just not even have you here.
I think like one thing that I've seen where there has been a shift is like the component of bringing your closest girlfriends together to like get ready together, have brunch together in the morning of your wedding, like play music together, hang out the morning, get ready together. But I don't need 1,000, and this is crazy because I'm a photographer, but like from me as a personal standpoint, I don't need 1,000 photos of all of me with all of my friends. And then like I think that'll happen organically throughout the night anyway. And I personally would just pull my photographer and be like, can you get a quick group photo of like these girls we went to high school together?
Yeah.
Love that. And then the standing thing, like I feel like a lot of times in friendships, it can get complicated and I don't like to complicate things more. So I'm like, I don't personally want to do that because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. If I ask, someone to give a speech, but somebody else was expecting to be giving a speech, or someone was expecting to be walking first, or someone was expecting to be sitting next to me at dinner, like there are expectations that we put on each other, and especially surrounding weddings, that I don't want to do that to anybody and I don't want to do it to myself. So I think wedding parties are more stress than they are worth sometimes, but I also love seeing like the cute girlhood moments of you with your besties, like really happy, genuinely happy for one another. I love that.
Yeah, I do agree. Just from a photographer perspective, having you up there with like having the bridal party up there with them, I don't think my mom knows or is friends with a single one of her bridesmaids. Like, now you have all of these photos, like hundreds of photos with these people in it, and either you're not friends with them or something real bad happened and you're like, now I got to see this chick's face all over the place. So not a vibe. But also the expectation part that you had mentioned, not only just the emotional expectation, when you don't have a planner or a day of coordinator
Yeah.
and you start having jobs for these people, this is now it's a job for
It's a
them.
working day,
It's a
baby.
working day and people get stressed. And I'm just like, that, or when someone's designated with a phone, even though they may love to do it, like weddings are supposed to be a celebration and fun, and it
Be in the
just,
moment.
yeah, it can get hairy real quick and people can feel a sort of resentment and yeah. Okay. If you are gifted a sum of money to help you pay for your wedding, it should not come with stipulations.
If you are gifted a sum of money to help pay for your wedding, it should not come with stipulations.
I mean, I don't think that's a hot take to some people's parents. That might be a hot take, but I agree with that. Like if someone gives you 50 grand and then says, okay, but I get to pick the design, I'd be like, I'll just get married at the courthouse.
And let me give you your money back.
Yeah. Like, no thanks.
But that's part of it is like, I'll give you this money back. I don't want the stipulations.
Yeah.
So
you got to
we're
be able
giving
to
the
foot
money
your
back.
down or
Yeah.
tell mom and dad, like, or grandma and grandpa, like, sure, I'll gladly take your money. But like, that doesn't mean that your entire
Yeah, you don't
choir
get a
is
say, baby.
invited, taking
Yeah.
75 people off the list.
Bridesmaids who hop into shots to fix something are not actually being helpful. Who submitted this? Who did this? I know it's anonymous, but please DM me. I will send you a $5 Starbucks gift card because or like literally $10 because a grande is like $7 now. But oh my gosh, the way my heart is palpitating right now.
Yeah. When I read it, I was
stay
like,
the
I know that it's
fuck
like
out
it.
of the shot.
Yeah. So, two things. Number one, very often there was nothing wrong to begin with. There was nothing wrong.
Nothing.
You are hopping
Nothing.
in to seem more helpful. And I'm
Which
like,
is nice from a friend perspective, but you also have to understand if you're a bridesmaid listening to this, we have shot hundreds of weddings. We know when something looks off. And oftentimes, like maybe we're posing them in a way that then the friend's like, let me fix it. I need to get this. I need to get this. I need to get. And I'm like, no, she's fine.
yeah, I'm gonna move
She's
them in a second.
okay.
Or what sometimes gets my goat is like, okay, there'll be like a literal flyaway, like
I
a tiny
know.
little flyaway, and it's a windy day, and the bridesmaid keeps popping into every shot and I'm like, I already know that I'm gonna AI remove that shit, and I need to keep the day going.
Yeah.
And what it also does is it then kind of puts it out into the universe that like I don't know what I'm doing.
I know.
And that I'm not paying attention. And I go, I am paying attention, believe it or not, to about 85 things right
At
now.
once. Yep.
I know that the hair's there, but I know the best case scenario is to not freak the bride out, to keep taking these beautiful portraits because I can take care of that later.
Yeah.
You are killing my timeline right now by jumping in, and you're losing that trust between myself and the couple. So get the fuck out.
Please stay away. We love you,
Hot
like,
take.
especially if you really are trying to be helpful,
Yeah.
but like, it is just not, please
I
just,
once had a bride that had such a massive bouquet that literally she couldn't, like, it almost had to be up here. Like there was no more room for her arms to
Ooh,
go
it's
down.
personal.
And I don't think you were there. But there not was a bridesmaid, but like just a personal attendant or whatever that kept saying like, don't you think you should have her bring the flowers down? And it took everything in me not to whip my head and look at her and say, I've tried. There's those flowers aren't
Yeah.
going anywhere. And so for you to be in my ear and act like I don't know what I'm doing, like please give me a break right now. It's just
Please go
it's the way the
away.
cookie crumbles. I love that submission though. So, hot take. It's a huge risk for photographers to let anyone and everyone associate for them, especially when it's not an emergency. Example, posting on Instagram or Facebook for an associate to just so you can get the booking. Mind you, I know you know how I feel about this. I did not submit this. Like these are people from Instagram. I don't know who submitted this, but I don't think that's
A hot take.
a hot take. I couldn't agree more. These people who are like, hey, I want to get this wedding booked, but I'm unavailable. Is anybody available? Huh? What? Are you kidding me? Now, that's not to say that you can't have a large group of people who have worked for you before. You've vetted their work to the nth degree. You trust them. You trust their personality. Fine. Like, fine if you have a big ass team. That's all well and good. But it's the pulling from the ether of the internet
I
where
don't like that.
I'm not a huge fan. And I think we ran into that with that reception the bride who's pissed about her reception photos. This photographer said, "Hey, I hired a stranger," which in my contract says I can do. And I'm just like, how?
Let's retouch on that. So we're talking about the TikTok video that went viral, the one that we touched on about the 19-year-old bride with the carnival theme wedding, who literally that's what it is.
That's
It's
what it is.
literally
That's the
what it is.
facts.
I'm not being mean. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
The photographer, I also don't agree with how she approached this.
Yeah.
She lives 3 hours away from where the bride lives, so she wasn't originally even planning to attend this wedding. She planned to hire an associate. However, the associate who she hired, do I think she's a bad photographer? No. Do I think their styles aligned after looking at each of their Instagram pages and websites? In no way do I think that they are similar style of photography whatsoever.
Yeah.
And can one emulate to a certain degree, or, just tap into that for a job? Absolutely, sure. But then to take that kind of creative freedom and twist, put your own twist on it and do things a little differently and add your own creative flair, because I don't necessarily shoot like X, Y, and Z. That is where it gets tricky and sticky to say, how are these useful to my gallery? If I know that somebody has a completely different shooting style than me, I'm not hiring you to be my associate.
Yeah.
I'm just not doing it because it doesn't benefit me. It gives me more work. And then it doesn't benefit my client because they're not expecting that out of a gallery from me.
Agreed. And at the end of the day, when you are hiring an associate, it is you. It's your business.
Yep.
You are responsible. And I don't know if I ever shared this with you, but I'm going to. I'm going to lay this out on the line real quick before we go into the last one. My very first wedding that I shot ever was an associate wedding.
Yeah, you told me this.
And I should not have been hired for that job. Not only was I hired last minute for it, I don't know what the situation was. I don't remember. I don't quite care. But I was hired last minute. I had never shot a wedding before. And then that photographer, I also edited the gallery because they were really behind on galleries. So I edited the gallery. Again, I'm brand new at this. So the gallery gets delivered. The couple's unhappy with the gallery, both like, hey, we feel like a couple photos are missing, and like, hey, we don't love how this was edited. And then I got feedback from that photographer that essentially says, like, I'm really disappointed in you. And she then offered the couple money back and asked me to pay for it.
Shut up.
And I remember I was sitting there, it's all hindsight, and I think that both of us as photographers have grown and whatever, but I look back at that and I go, be so for real that you hired someone who had never shot a wedding before, then had them edit it for you.
Not even second shot?
I think I had second. I think that was how early this was in my career.
Crazy.
But and then again, they were behind on gallery, so I offered to edit it and try to help them out. And then to be told, like, I'm disappointed in you. And I was like, I was trying to dig you out of multiple holes. I'm brand new at this. And now money's coming out of my pocket for it. And so I just sit there and I go.
And not only that, but you're having a soul crushing experience because you don't know what the fuck is going on.
Soul crushing.
Yeah.
I literally could have quit photography right then and there. So I sit there and this is a reminder to everybody, if you are hiring an associate, they're a representation of your business, but it is your business at the end of the day. Like, be very confident in the decisions that you're making because you are the one responsible for them. Like, unless your associate, I don't know, roundhouse kicks grandpa, like, that's a different scenario. But if you're hiring a brand new person and now you're disappointed in them that they're delivering a brand new person gallery,
be so for real.
Be so for real. Okay, last one.
Bridal bouquets do not belong on the head table unless they are in a cute vase. Here's the thing.
So do they just mean like it's like laying on the table?
I don't know what they mean. But here's what I'm going to say about it. Get an arrangement. I don't know. Have something pre-set up. Have something looking cute on that table. Because oftentimes it doesn't go.
Yeah.
But if you can make that shit work and keep that popping and keep all of your tables looking cute, cohesive, arranged, flowerful, if that's what you want, honey, I want you to do what you want to do. But yeah, don't just be like laying your bouquet on the table. In that case, put it in the bridal suite, preserve it for
Yeah.
later. If it doesn't need to be out, don't let it be out. Put those babies away.
Yeah, I do agree that for the sake of decoration, just like flopping your bouquet on the
It's not
table,
gonna work.
I'd rather you just not have
That's what
anything.
I'm saying.
Don't have anything. Don't even have a head table. Go sit in with your peeps and like mingle in with them. But it's hard because I get it. Money. Like flowers
For
are,
sure.
flowers are costly. They're not costly, but they're an investment depending on what you're looking for. So I get it. But sometimes less is more then. And I'm gonna shout out Bentley Bates, Honeybee Wedding. Her wedding, like floral wise on the tables, it was more just candles and
Love it.
the fabric on the tables. It looked so beautiful. It was so luxurious and chic. So sometimes it's like, hey, you don't have to do a ton of florals if that's not the vibe,
Right.
but it's also not the vibe to just like lay.
Flop them.
Yeah.
Pop them and flop
Pop them
them.
and flop them. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your hump day with us. Don't forget to subscribe and review the pod wherever you listen. New full episodes drop every Friday on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. And fingers crossed that we're dropping some random mini hump day episodes on Wednesdays.
Yeah, these are fun. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at cocktailhour.podcast. You can submit all of anything you want to on there, any hot takes like all of these. Any submissions, they're all anonymous. So feel free to pop over, click the link in our bio, and do so there.
See you all Friday and bye.
Bye.